Now that Raven is dead, we've got the level 7 keycard. And we can hold more ammo for our weapons, as per usual.
We've taken on Raven's powers of holding big things.
And I wonder what Naomi's up to, but I don't feel like calling her.
I don't know anything about Dr. Naomi, so there's not much I can say. But Snake, I think you'd better leave that to Colonel Campbell. Don't you think you'd better just get to the control room?
She doesn't like animals, Snake. She's not a good person.
With a name like Hunter.
Never let me fed the dogs.
Don't feel guilty about the soldiers that died from your bullets. They knew the risks they were taking, just like you.
Do you think he knew the risk that he would be consumed by Raven while still alive?
Out of all the people, he probably had a vision of that.
Turns out the Raven on his head thirsted for his own blood.
Yeah, maybe the Raven on your head first for your own blood.
Snake, hurry up and get to Metal Gear's underground base. It's north of the warehouse where you fought Raven.
Aww.
Colonel, I'm a little turned around in here. I can't tell which way's north anymore.
First you want to keep me out of the loop, and now you're not letting me shoot down Vulcan Raven while he's flying as a Raven. You're no fun anymore, Colonel. I called you my friend. Oh god, it's so cold and dark in this next room.
Oh, it warmed up.
It's still a little frosty right here. What? Oh no!
Wait, did they just tell you to get up after you fell down a hole?
Come on, quit playing around, Snake. Get up that trapdoor shaft. We're already like deep underground, so that's even further underground. Oh my god. This area is very well secure. Like, they blew their entire surveillance budget on this one room, but just a waterfall.
Just to make sure all the security cameras are in place, we're gonna put security cameras to watch themselves.
That's dual layer security, Snake. They're not even like pointing where they would need to catch people.
Are railings like solid wall?
Yeah. Oh, you mean, can they see through that? They can see through that.
They're just really bad.
They're just pointed, like, almost straight down. But they were kind enough to provide us with a lot of Stinger missiles up here on this platform.
Oh, that's a lot of targets.
So it'd be kind of a waste to, There's absolutely no benefit to blowing all of these up. But there's no benefit to not blowing them up as well.
Could you imagine being the installer for these? The ones that are just like not even next to any kind of railing or anything, but just above that waterfall? I need 24 of them just there. Liquid, are you sure? What?
Oh.
Can those cameras even see you?
If you're standing, like, right in front of where that box is, they're guarding one box out of 3.
That's a lot of Stinger missiles.
If I time this just right... Aw. You survived this one day. Oh, damn it!
That's a lot of Stinger missiles. Did they actually intend for you to shoot all these down?
I guess they did, just having a little bit of fun with it, but there's no reason to do any of that, because all the ones on the other side of the room can't see you, no matter where you're at. Oh.
Oh, wow.
So I think this is like some corrupt government contract. Some guy knew the guy that owned the camera company.
Snake, I am detecting high levels of radiation coming from that waterfall. If you get too close, you could be exposed. Besides the dismantled warheads, Shadow Moses Island must also be storing some other kind of nuclear materials. Whatever it is, it must be leaking. You have probably
that's not
heard it
water.
before, but I will tell you again.
It's actually just
most
nuclear
nuclear
waste.
storage facilities are not in much better shape than this one. They are causing immeasurable damage to the environment.
Well, it's not flammable.
Can't you actually measure it? What's it called? A Geiger.
And what were all of those security cameras actually guarding? Metal Gear Rex. He's here.
Oh, that was a short cutscene.
Yeah. He's pretty big, I guess. Neat.
That's probably not gonna be shooting blanks, I can tell you that.
Snake, stop that launch. Head for the control room in the underground base. The control room is on the 3rd floor of the underground base, isn't it? There's no time.
Colonel, I'd have to climb at least 2 staircases to get to the 3rd floor here, so... Look at the pistons on its feet it uses to stabilize, and I'm guessing rough terrain.
Is that thing gonna move?
It can! It's surrounded on all sides by catwalks. It was bolted down to the floor.
A Hind D gonna burst in through the window and take out all the catwalks?
Snake, that water is contaminated with nuclear waste material. If you go in there, you'll take damage. Nuclear waste? They were
That's one
extremely
way
careless
to
with their handling of
describe
nuclear materials.
radioactive
Nastasi knows all
exposure.
about that and
You'll
info.
take damage. You have to speak to Snake in terms of video games so he won't understand.
That stuff that is flowing in those ditches on the 1st floor must be radioactive nuclear wastewater. You better stay away from it. You are already exposed enough just by being in that area. Any further exposure could be fatal. That place is not a nuclear processing facility. It must be some other kind of nuclear material that is leaking, besides the dismantled nuclear warheads. Probably spent nuclear fuel or something.
On the other hand, look at me, I'm a submarine.
Weird fuel, huh?
Oh, so it's giving me energy to be in here. It's like a nuclear fuel.
So now you have radioactive Havas bullets.
Think carefully about your hiding spots. You may find a place where you can hide perfectly, but if you can't get your mission done, it's meaningless.
Well, I was never gonna get caught here. Well, if the radioactivity is not going to kill me, the lack of oxygen will. The gas mask does not help. Breathing underwater. But look at me!
Oh my gosh,
It's
that's
a-
a well-waxed cardboard
It's-
box.
I'm a one-man SDV! It's been so long. Oh, I chose the cardboard box with the blue stripe on it, so it's, water safe.
That's probably safe to pick up and eat later.
Oh, it's rotten. Oh wait, no, it's just radioactive decay. It's fine. Look at me! Is Otacod still watching? Look, watch me, I can do a belly flop.
That's where the emergency PAL code override system is. The control room is on the 3rd floor of the base you're in. Do you see that ladder next to Metal Gear? You can climb up there.
easier for you to say.
Sure, not radioactive at the moment.
I'm well insulated.
Snake, it's me.
What's wrong? Did you find a good place to hide?
Yeah. Thanks
I've
to the
always
stealth
hidden.
here. It looks
I'm
like
hiding
the
under a
Bakers came
waterfall,
out
Snake.
already.
How do you know that?
It's tingly.
I overheard them talking. Where are you now?
right in front of Metal Gear, but it's strange.
What is?
There's nobody here. No guards, nobody patrolling. It's too quiet.
Oh god, they're all stealthing.
Begin with the PAL codes.
What should I do?
Oh, we
Snake,
can
just
do
dismantle
it
Metal
using the
Gear, then.
override system President Baker told you about.
Did you get that
But I've only
screwdriver I
got one
gave
of
you?
the 3 keys, and besides that, like Ocelot said, there's some trick to using the keys.
Leave it to me.
You got some kind of plan?
Well, I'm in the computer room right now. I'm trying to access Baker's private files.
Baker's files. Don't you need a password?
Of course, but there are ways.
Are you a hacker?
Yep.
Looks like you can get in.
I don't know yet.
Don't you gleam your anime glasses at me?
Counting on you.
Yeah, I've got techniques like I'm gonna click forgot your password, and then
Well, I know Baker's street that he grew up on, and the name of his first pet, Snake.
so I'll work for there.
Otacon, how's it going?
Not yet. Give me a little more time.
Master Miller phones in. Do you know what the make of Baker's first car was?
Baker's first job was at a car wash, don't you know?
Back in Alaska, the ice road truckers.
Mine's bigger. It'd save me a lot of time if I could just blow up the key card reader.
Blow up Metal Gear. It's right there.
Snake, it's me again.
How's it going?
Not bad. I just got past his 3rd security level. He was a pretty careful guy.
I opened new folder,
Soon.
new folder 2.
System I couldn't bust into.
I'm close.
Okay, keep trying.
There's a folder here that says do not open, Snake. I've hit a dead end.
Wait, couldn't Otacon, like, hack maybe the security cameras or something? Make him shoot the soldiers?
Well, he was the guy that created Metal Gear Rex, so maybe he could do something about that.
Oh, about Metal Gear Rex? Yeah, that'd be helpful.
How about it? Did you find the override system file?
Not yet. I need a little more time. Well, I found lots of information about that new nuclear weapon. There are 4 stages involved in launching a ballistic missile. The first one is the boost stage.
That's not
It starts
classified
at the point
information.
The missile is launched and ends after all the
I'm reading
rocket
straight from the
fuel is burned,
Wikipedia article,
and the
Snake.
missile is propelled into the exosphere. The next stage is the post-boost stage. It starts after all the fuel is burned and ends after the re-entry vehicle is ejected. Next is the intermediate course stage. It takes place after the re-entry vehicle is ejected and lasts until the missile enters the exosphere. Then comes the final stage. It starts when the re-entry vehicle enters the exosphere, and it lasts until it reaches its ultimate target on the ground. Missile defense systems use military satellites to detect rocket emissions during the initial boost stage of a missile. But this new nuclear weapon employs the railgun's ability to fire projectiles at ultra-high velocities instead of using a rocket. That's why it can't be detected by today's missile defense systems. And on top of that, the re-entry vehicle also uses stealth technology. It's so accurate that its 50% zone comes close to 50 meters. That's as good as the best ICBM.
A highly accurate, undetectable, uninterceptable nuclear weapon. We wouldn't even be able to tell where it came from.
And that's not all. A standard
from right
ballistic
there.
missile uses
Right
a
behind you.
2-stage or a
Yeah, it's like right
3-stage
here.
solid fuel rocket for its propulsion system. Besides costing lots of money, safely maintaining the solid rocket fuel and readying the missile for launch requires a lot of work. But a railgun-launched nuclear warhead avoids all of those problems. And it's cheap, too.
It's the perfect nuke. A general's dream.
And the world's nightmare.
I'll take one.
It would still cost a lot of electricity, though, right, to launch it off a railgun?
Oh, that's why
probably.
we have nuclear power.
Oh, that's probably where all the nuclear fuel is leaking.
Oh, maybe.
Snake.
Get off my robot!
You got past security?
Nope.
Bingo.
Great. So what do you got?
I accessed the confidential Metal Gear file.
So what about the PAL override system that Baker talked about?
I haven't found it yet.
Quit wasting my time.
But Snake, I found something else.
I found stuff you don't need to know.
Right behind the new
Did you know that you're half Japanese?
The nuclear
I found out what the other half of Snake's race is.
Like a projectile. It doesn't use fuel.
It's Cobra.
So it isn't considered a missile. That way it can get around all sorts of international treaties.
Oh, it's the I'm not touching you defense.
And that's not even the scariest thing about this weapon.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
It's a stealth weapon.
You mean it won't show up on radar?
Yeah.
Does everybody get a stealth gear except for me?
Since the late 70s.
Why weren't they able to develop one until now?
But this one's not a missile.
Rocket propulsion system. It would be picked up by enemy satellites.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
But unlike a missile, the railgun doesn't burn any propellant, so it can't be detected by any kind of
So
missile detection
we're just hucking a nuke. It's not
Yeah.
actually.
totally impossible to intercept. And on top of that, it's got a surface-piercing warhead designed to penetrate hard.
I'm sure the UN would like to condemn the United States for firing a nuke, but we didn't actually fire a nuke. We just threw one.
Yeah, we catapulted one.
Our hands are tied.
Point of view, it avoids the problem.
Oh, can't do anything about it. Just fired off this railgun.
Yeah, you must have been a real bonehead to have invented this weapon, whoever that was.
If word of this got out, it could delay the signing of the START 3 treaty and cause a huge international incident.
Yeah, it would be nasty. The United States would be denounced by the UN. It could even bring the president down.
Did you
Oh
know
man,
this, Colonel?
could you imagine the president being hated by the
You
UN?
changed, Colonel.
I won't make
I could
any
fire a stealth nuke on 5th Avenue and nobody would condemn me.
This new nuclear weapon, it's never actually been tested, only simulated.
You mean they ran a computer model?
Yeah, that's why they were conducting this exercise. They needed to get actual experimental data to
simulation,
back up
you
the
say?
simulation.
What were the results of the exercise?
It looks like it went better than they hoped for, but I can't find the data anywhere on this network. You'd think the data is...
Oh, so this thing has actually fired a dummy warhead somewhere.
Was. President Baker gave me an optical disc with all of the test data.
What? Do you still have it?
No, Ocelot took it from me.
Would that
Terrorists have replaced the
would the
dummy
test data
warhead
be
with a
any
real
good
warhead.
for the colonel?
Once they input the detonation codes, they
Depends
should
on
be
what the
ready
colonel
to
was after.
launch.
It's just like it's weird that the data's missing,
Well,
right?
the
But
dummy
it's not gonna
warhead was
help
designed to be
Snake in
identical
his
to the real
operation at
thing, so
all,
I think so.
right?
Well, Snake's
Find out how
stated
to
mission
override
was supposed
it.
to be rescue the hostages and stop Metal Gear, but it seems like there's
Right now, I'm
something
looking through
deeper at
all of
play.
Baker's personal
Deep, like
files.
underground
Counting
base
on you.
3.
Got it yet?
Please, Snake, give me a little more time.
Hey! I recognize those guys.
Is that Johnny?
Revolver Johnny Ocelot and Liquid Johnny Snake. He's sashaying around. Thinks he's so cool.
Yep, it's a good thing that we're all the way down here where Metal Gear is, where
Whoop.
there's no security.
Oh, there is security. The one guard here has heard my explosion.
And it's not gonna notify Liquid or Ocelot, because they're in a soundproof room.
Springing into action. I'm not paid to climb ladders. I'm paid to guard this catwalk and this catwalk alone. This guard is dressed in combat gear. We've only ever seen combat gear when those guys ambushed us on the elevator.
Oh wait, maybe that guard couldn't tell Liquid and Ocelot because it's a jamming zone and he doesn't have a Soliton radar.
Oh, you're right. He doesn't even know they're there. It's my perfect opportunity to get a headshot on Metal Gear. The robot that needs to have a head for some reason.
Does Metal Gear have a oh, it's on the side, right?
No, I was looking right at it. It has like a jaw and everything.
Oh. Oh, it's Metal Gear T-Rex, so.
Yeah, it's shaped like a dinosaur because it's the 90s.
Snake!
Did you find it?
No, I haven't found out about the override system yet, but I found Baker's ulterior motive.
He's just looking to get rich, isn't he?
He's a big fan of Japanese animation,
Much worse
Snake.
financial trouble than I thought.
I know they lost their bid to make the next generation fighter jet. That plus the reduction in SDI spending.
It looks like there was even some talk of a hostile takeover.
Of the United States.
This project, I guess.
Seems he wanted to
It looks
create
like we were
a
paying
nation
lot
where
of
soldiers
bribe
could
money
live
to the
forever.
Backer chief.
Bribe money, huh?
Yeah, and Baker was a big proponent of the nuclear deterrent theory.
I see.
Wait,
So anyway,
why is
what
Arms
about
Tech
the
in financial
override?
trouble
Just
if they're
give me a
taking
little
a
bit
lot of
longer.
bribe money?
They're giving a lot of bribe money.
Oh. They've been taking... Wait, the DARPA chief's been taking the bribe money, right?
Right.
Give Dr. Emmerich a call.
I don't want to talk to that nerd.
Did you find the file for the override system?
Just wait a little longer. I found out a lot about the arms industry, though. After the Cold War ended, the United States slashed its defense budget by more than 15%. Naturally, the arms industry was severely affected. It resulted in an orgy of mergers and acquisitions. Some of the big arms conglomerates today are made up of what 10 years ago would have been 20 or more smaller arms companies. Arms Tech is one of those. But we
Here's
lost
my
our bid
arm.
to produce the U.S. Air Force's next line of fighter jets. Then we took a stab at civilian applications, but that was a failure too. The company was about to go belly up. Ironically, the Defense Department was in pretty much the same situation. Thanks to big budget cuts, they were forced to turn to the private sector to help fund their weapons development. On top of that, the government began to actively export their advanced weapons technology to the private sector in order to maintain a high standard of quality in the country's defense armaments. Eventually, they decided on a joint development project for new weapon systems between the DoD and the private sector. And since both sides were in such bad financial shape, that's where all the back-scratching came in. So there was another reason for the joint development of Metal Gear, huh? It wasn't just President Baker trying to keep Arms Tech afloat.
It's like this whole damn system's corrupt.
Snake, isn't the detonation code input system in the control room? Hurry up and get in there.
Oh, sorry, I was distracted by a cool robot.
Oh.
Let me just... oh, I was going to try and shoot a remote control missile up there, but I can't. So I'll just make it a suicide mission.
Yeah, alright. Toss a grenade. Oh, who's in here? Oh no, it's a security camera.
I forgot I'm not wearing stealth.
What?
But we won't. We'll just wait a little longer.
To show them that we mean business.
Should I set it for Cherniton, Russia?
No, there's been a change. The new target is Lopnor, China.
Why, boss?
I'm sure neither you nor Mr. Golukovich would really like to see a nuclear bomb dropped on your motherland, right?
Liquid. But
Yes,
why?
that's who that is.
There's nothing there.
I hate my motherland.
Oh, Snake is surprised because he's supposed to be dead.
Oh yeah, this is the first time we've seen that Liquid's actually alive.
Yeah, even though we saw a parachute.
Who would have guessed?
So who was he talking about? The other guy? Mr.
Probably
Gorowa?
mean top secret
That's the first time it's been mentioned.
Oh, okay.
Of course. And in the process, the president will be forced to divulge the existence of a new and highly destabilizing nuclear weapon to the Chinese. What do you think that will do to the US's reputation? Or the president's?
And with the CTBT, that means that China and India.
If it's an invisible nuclear warhead,
Couldn't they just couldn't they just say it's from an international terrorist organization?
yeah,
Because
why
it
would
is.
they? Why would China think that it came from the US?
And why would the US claim that it's from their tech? Like, they are an international terrorist organization. Couldn't they just say they developed it themselves?
$1 billion. $1 billion.
They're also demanding $1 billion, which we heard about for the first time. Colonel didn't mention that.
Fox die. It killed Octopus and the Arms Tech president. So it's true that it affects older people first. Mantis might not have been affected because he wore a mask.
Wolf wasn't infected either. Perhaps due to those tranquilizers she always took.
Something to do with the adrenaline level in the blood. Or maybe it's just because this Fox die was still experimental.
Is this the first time we're hearing about this?
Are you covering up plot holes that I don't even know about? Stop that.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Was there any...
Oh, I've skipped all of the Codec calls with Revolver Ocelot, so he hasn't explained it to us.
Oh.
He said we can talk after Metal Gear's test launch is successful.
He's a very prudent man.
We don't know who this is either, right?
The Colonel wants
Colonel Campbell? Yeah.
Oh, the Colonel. I've heard of a Colonel.
Colonel not appearing in this game, Sergei Golukovich. Colonel Roy Sergei Golukovich Campbell?
That can't be intercepted. Metal Gear will allow them to gain first strike capability over the rest of the world.
Their regular army is in shambles, and they think they can
Oh,
restore
yeah.
their country's military power with nuclear weapons.
We're in Alaska right now, right?
Yeah,
No warrior.
Which is in America, but adjacent to Russia.
that's right.
Most of our other heavy firepower.
He's
You could
got
see
over
Russia
1,000
from Shadow
soldiers
Moses
under his
Island.
command.
You could ally with Russia from Shadow Moses Island.
We could put up quite a
Oh,
resistance
yeah, they're probably
here.
importing a
Since
lot of
Mantis
stuff from
died, the
Russia,
German
and
soldiers'
it's easy
brainwashing
because
started
it's
to
nearby.
wear off. I'm
That's why
worried
they have
around.
a Russian helicopter and a Russian Stinger missile.
It's like everyone has a hind, though.
We're not
Yeah.
going anywhere. We're going to dig in here.
We could still escape.
We've got the most powerful weapon ever made, and we're about to ally with Golukovich's forces.
Are you going to fight the whole world?
That thing has legs. We
What's
could just...
wrong with that? We can launch a nuclear warhead at
Walk
any
it over.
target on this planet. A nuclear warhead invisible to radar. And on top of that, this base is full of spare nuclear warheads. Once we get the DNA and the money, the world will be ours.
What about your promise to Colonel Golukovich?
I have no interest in the revival of Mother Russia.
What about Brother Russia?
Big Boss's dream.
From today, call this place Outer Heaven.
So Big Boss isn't dead.
Big Boss's dream.
Not as long as you keep the dream alive.
You're not worried about the PAL being overridden.
It would sure be terrible if that PAL code was overridden.
No need to worry. The DARPA chief
He's looking right at me.
are both dead.
Does Snake know how the override system works?
You interrogated him, don't you know?
He didn't have any keys on him.
I did have a key on me. You gave it.
Wait, is Ocelot on our side?
What should we
Is he
do
just
with
the
that woman?
worst?
No, he was looking right at you, right? Outside?
Yeah, but
She's Campbell's
Liquid
niece.
is also looking right at us on that monitor.
Is he just saying everything here out loud for your sake?
She's alive.
He was bluffing. Whether you submit to the torture or not, she's still alive.
Oh, so he had no authority to actually go kill her anyways.
I found Baker's top secret files.
Great job.
How's it going there?
Turns out they were in the Do Not Look folder.
So how do we deactivate?
I renamed it Do Look, and then I opened it.
You're such a good hacker. Also, they got me on camera.
Detonation codes. You see, if you insert the keys when the warhead is active, you deactivate it. And if you insert them when it's inactive, it becomes activated. And you can only use the
There's no
keys
way you
once.
can mess this up.
Yeah, you better get started. We don't have much time.
But it takes 3 keys, right? I've only got 1 of them.
Hold on a minute. You see, that's the trick. You already have all 3 keys.
What are you talking about?
Check your back pocket, Snake.
Key is
Look
made
behind your ear.
of alloy.
Oh my god.
It's a material that changes
No!
shape with
Not
temperature.
again.
It's true.
This card key?
Is that why it's shaped like the Zanzibar land logo?
Shaped like the Shadow Moses Island logo.
There's actually 3 keys in one. Clever.
I came up with that technology. I also invented Metal Gear. It's my original idea.
Control room.
I see them.
Spared no expense, we have a laptop for each.
Zoom level 100.
On each screen.
He's just holding out his scope around the corner and not looking through it.
Input
Wait,
the keys
how is he able to pan?
left to right.
I've hacked into the security camera in that room, Snake. Look.
See the symbol?
Also, I'm not gonna go shoot Liquid and Ocelot with the gun camera for some reason.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah,
First,
so
I
just
changed
input
the
those
shape of
3
the
keys.
card, and I
Ignore the
moved
fact that
the
Liquid and Ocelot are in that room.
Just walk in and do it.
You're a stealth soldier,
After you
Snake.
insert the key into the module, a hard disk
Just walk in like you own the place, like you're supposed to be there.
Just carry a clipboard, Snake. They won't question it.
Input process
Look
is
busy.
empty. But here's the thing. You can only use the key 3 times. It's an emergency system. It's only meant to be used once.
Wait a minute. Ocelot, is this video live?
What do you mean, who's that?
I just got through stressing importance of that key!
Key fell in the drainage ditch.
It's currently falling in the drainage ditch.
This is bulletproof
What the hell?
glass. There's no way in. I will
Except the
enjoy
door.
watching you die.
Of old age. You just stay out there forever.
Did they just trap themselves in there?
Yes. I cannot stress how important that card key is, Snake, and you just dropped it.
Oh, Snake, you got that key? Yeah, let me pull it out of my pocket and put it out right here in the doorway.
I've left one foe behind.
Anytime fuel is burned in a nuclear reactor, it will always produce, as a waste product, some spent fuel mixed with highly toxic radioactive compounds. Spent nuclear fuel stays radioactive for 300 years. In other words, this material will remain lethal for the next 3 centuries.
You probably should wait to open that door. Just give it a minute, it's fine.
Bury it in a layer of rock salt without much exposure to underground water. Even though we now know there are big problems with that, we still do not have an effective disposal solution. Most of the nuclear waste we produce is just shoved underground with no intention of ever processing it. It is like an ostrich with its head in the sand. No, there is a process which involves mixing the nuclear waste with low-grade uranium to convert it into a mixed oxide fuel for burning in light water reactors, usually in the form of glass logs. But MOX contaminates a nuclear reactor more quickly than low-grade uranium. It is also highly toxic. It is economically unfeasible unless the price of uranium is more than 4 times what it currently is. Not only that, you cannot ignore the danger inherent in transporting the MOX from the processing factories to the nuclear reactors. An accident could lead to radioactive contamination, or the materials could be hijacked by terrorists. No, I do not think MOX could be called a viable solution to the problem of plutonium disposal. There is only one effective use for nuclear waste: military applications. You see, after
Oh, so it's not a problem, we can just
processing,
launch
they
the
can
nukes,
separate
and then
plutonium
it'll go
from the
away.
nuclear waste. Nuclear weapons normally use military-grade plutonium-239 with a purity of 93 to 94%.
That's
It is
Heisenberg
made
level.
in special nuclear reactors designed for military applications. On the other hand, the plutonium in spent nuclear fuel only has a purity of about 60%. But that does not mean that spent nuclear fuel cannot be used for military applications. America
We just bury it under our enemies, and then eventually they'll die.
from nuclear reactor-grade plutonium. That means that eventually everyone will be able to make nuclear weapons from plutonium separated from spent nuclear fuel. Spent nuclear fuel can also be used to make depleted uranium bullets or shells. They are armor-piercing anti-tank rounds. DU
I don't have any of those.
at the halftime
They'd probably come in handy trying to kill these ravens.
So it makes it an extremely effective armor-piercing weapon. It can cut through tank armor like a hot knife through butter. Unfortunately, when a DU round explodes, it spreads a fine dust, which when absorbed into a body, supposedly causes terrible long-term health problems, including genetic damage. During the Gulf War, American as well as Iraqi soldiers were exposed to DU dust and suffered from radiation poisoning and other illnesses. The American government conducted research to discover whether exposure could lead to cancer or genetic damage, but the results were inconclusive.
It's kind of appropriate that the genome soldiers here are experiencing genetic damage too. It's almost thematic.
They are currently doing research to find ways to transform minor actinoids, such as americium and neptunium, which are highly toxic with long half-lives, into nuclear materials with short half-lives. It is called extinction processing, but it is not being used much due to all the technical and economical problems with it. A serious program for nuclear waste treatment has yet to be established. There is a big difference between conventional weapons and weapons of mass destruction. Conventional weapons are intended for use against military targets, but nuclear weapons are used against non-combatants. Nukes are designed to kill tens of thousands of innocent civilians in a flash. That is why nuclear weapons are so evil. Those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it. That is why the world must never forget Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Nuclear weapons are
Kill them in a flash? Of course.
every living thing on Earth, and to render the planet uninhabitable.
There will be a
for
flash.
tens of thousands of years.
Brighter
In
than the sun.
history of mankind,
Brighter
there
than
has
anything
never
you've
been a
ever
weapon
seen.
created which was not later used. If we do not do something, we are just going to blow ourselves up. There's no doubt about it. As long as nuclear weapons exist.
Oh, this is several flash grenades.
That was all of them. Well, at least one thing's not hanging over my head anymore. I think I got them all. No!
They say there is no current viable solution to get rid of ravens.
You know what? I'm in favor of nukes now. Nuke this room and kill me.